Everybody, welcome to Whatever, where we literally talk about whatever. My name is Jake, and as you can see in the title, it's going to be the top 5 anime on Netflix. Obviously, these are my personal opinion. If you're not really a big anime fan, these may be a good jumping off point for you. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright everyone, like I said in the intro, these are the top 5 anime on Netflix. These are my top 5 anyway, and if you're not really, you're on the edge of being like an anime fan, or maybe you've never seen an anime and you're just kind of curious about it, hopefully this gets you started. These, I'm going to be going in descending order, so 5 to 1, 5 all the way down to 1. And, with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. Number 5, my number 5 is Fate Apocrypha. That's the name of it. If you look on Netflix, it's really good. It's actually there's actually different series of this, and it started with Fate Zero, and then it moved on to Fate Unlimited Blade Works, and so on and so forth up the rung. So basically, what the Fate series is all about is you have these magicians in this. They're in this other world or whatever. You have these magicians that summon a holy grail. The holy grail is pretty much omnipotent. It was created by magicians to grant wishes, any wish that you desire. But there's always a price to pay. I mean, nothing really comes for free. That's the whole point of this Grail War. But in the Grail War, you have the magicians, and they summon heroic spirits. I mean, heroic spirits from any time and any era, any region of the world. So that's basically how that goes. They pit them against each other, and in order to obtain the Holy Grail and grant their wish, whatever wish that they want. It's a really great premise. The storyline's really great. The animation is really cool. If you start to watch anime, or you get further into it, you see different animation styles, different obviously different storylines. But as far as for the English dubs across the board, you're gonna hear probably the same kind of voices, because a lot of the same voice actors that do English dub animes will do. They get hired pretty much across the board for any animes coming out, and then the Japanese voiceovers for the animation are really good too. Sometimes they're a little annoying. They're like really high pitched, but some people prefer that. I really don't. Personally, I don't mind it. I don't really mind the Japanese versions where you have to read the English subtitles on the bottom. But I don't want to spend all my time reading. I'd like to see the animation. I'd like to see the storyline, because I'll go back and watch it and see stuff that I missed before. But I don't really have to do that with the English dub. And I know it's kind of a sensitive subject, as far as some people like the Japanese dubs more than the English dubs, or they'll only watch Japanese, which is fine. That's just my personal opinion. I prefer the English dubs, so that way I can pay attention to the animation and little, because they'll throw in little things here and there, and I really, that's just really the main point of it for me anyway. It's really great. I'd check it out. The battle animation is really, really cool. When they're doing like an ultimate move or something, it gets pretty intense. It's really cool. So check it out, Fate Apocrypha. That's my number 5. We're gonna move on to number 4, and this is a new one that came out pretty recently. It's really, it's amazing. The animation's great. They do use cuss words. There's some nudity and stuff like that. So just be wary of that if you're sensitive to stuff like that, or if you think maybe your kids are into anime. This isn't the standard. This is Cyberpunk is more an adult type of anime. You're following this guy. His name is Danny Martinez, or David Martinez. You follow him through this futuristic world where everybody gets upgrades for to be like a cyborg human hybrid, I suppose you could say. I've only seen through it once. That sounds kind of weird saying I've only seen it once, but I usually have to watch stuff over and over to kind of get stuff that I missed, because maybe I'm not getting the whole thing, the whole story. But you follow him. He joins what they call net runners, and cyberpunks, I guess you could call them. But they're kind of like the degenerates of this world. They steal stuff, or they do mercenary type jobs. But yeah, the animation in this one is outstanding. When they get into their like net runner kind of mode where everything kind of goes in slow motion because they're enhanced, because they're cyborgs, you get to see just and there's blood and stuff like that, so that's another thing. It's really it's pretty gory, but anyway, you'd have to see it for yourself for sure. It's really great. And if you don't take my word for it, I mean, they obviously have previews. That's what Netflix has, those little previews of the show themselves when you're looking like on the main screens. It's check it out. It's really good. I loved it. I mean, the storyline's really great too, and I really like the futuristic setting. I'm more so of like a history buff, so I like the animes that are set in like medieval times or stuff like that, or even like Fate, like that last one. I really enjoy mythology and all the heroes and everything that come with each region, and learning about them and stuff. So it's a really good, Cyberpunk's really good if you like futuristic kind of stuff. We'll move on to number 3. Number 3 is going to be Baki, and if you haven't noticed already, I'll have pictures up. I don't own any of these pictures. I'm sure they're copyrighted and stuff. I'm just using them for reference so that we can get an idea of the animation style and stuff. I'm not trying to steal anything and say it's mine, because it's not mine. It's all, there's the disclaimer. Baki, and everybody in Baki, if you do decide that you want to watch it, it's a good storyline too. You have Baki Hanma as the main guy. His dad is a really famous fighter, and his dad's very carnal. He's a very carnal kind of guy, he's got, the tough love, and he beats his son up and stuff. It's super ridiculous as far as like everybody's super ripped. I don't know if you've seen an anime before, but how ridiculous they can be with women's chest areas, or guys just even like little kids having a six-pack and stuff. That's kind of this, it's really out there. There's different fighting styles. Baki has these inmates that are after him because he's the strongest guy in Japan, and they can all sense it somehow. But anyway, Baki's his main goal is basically just to beat his dad. He's trying to surpass him in strength and just beat his dad, and that's kind of his main goal throughout this whole series. There's a lot of other characters that help contribute to his increase in strength, because his dad's really strong. They call him the ogre, or they call him the strongest one. Or he's the strongest guy in the world. He's stronger than armies, which is crazy. But you get to see, you even get to see hints of like Muhammad Ali Jr. and Muhammad Ali. They know who the ogre is and stuff. So it's not based on any sort of facts. Obviously, it's an anime, but it's really cool. The animation, like I said, is different. All of these are going to be different kind of animation styles. And this one's definitely different from Cyberpunk. The battle scenes are pretty crazy. Like, these guys can just get beaten up, like an insane amount. The bullet wounds and everything, and somehow they're still alive. I don't know how all that works. I just know it's entertaining and it's pretty fun. And the over the top stuff is it's not really like, it's not super my thing, but the storyline's really good. So just check it out if you want. Baki, that's number 3. Okay, we're gonna move on to number 2, and this one it's a really good one too. This one also has heroic spirits and like the afterlife and gods and stuff like that. So it's called Record of Ragnarok, and it's a pretty new one too. I think it came out either the beginning of this year, or maybe the end of last year. They're gonna come out with another season here soon, and this one is basically Ragnarok is the humans, so in the beginning, the premise is the gods are going to eradicate humans because we have totally destroyed the planet, right? So then you have the main Valkyrie, the oldest Valkyrie, the first one, Brunhilde, and Valkyries basically summon heroic spirits up to fight for the gods and this, that, and the other, right? So she's basically proposes Ragnarok to the gods because the gods were just going to eradicate humans. So Ragnarok gives the humans a chance to prove that they're worthy of living for their species is worthy of continuing on for another 1,000 years or so. So she's in charge of using these heroic spirits that they've gathered over all these millennia to fight for the human race, and they fight different gods. They fight, you know, Thor and Poseidon. You're gonna see a whole bunch of them. Loki, Shiva, Freya, Zeus. I mean, any god from any sort of mythology that you could ever follow is gonna be on there. And the same with heroic spirits. You've got or you know, heroes or well-known people. They're not even necessarily just heroes for the humans. You have Lu Bu from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms in China. You have Kojiro Sasaki is a legendary swordsman in Japan, and you know, the second season is going to show even more. But you know, that's kind of the gist of it. The Valkyrie turn themselves into weapons to help the humans out, because human-made weapons aren't going to stand a chance. So there's a little hint. But yeah, the animation's really good. It's over the top, of course. You know, the woman's chest is really huge and there's bouncing around. But and then, you know, the gods have special powers, but you know, somehow the humans are matching them. But if you really want to check it out, the previews, like I said, show you a whole bunch. We're gonna move right on to the next one. Next one is number 1, is personal favorite of mine now. I didn't really play the game all that much, but following the seasons of the show, I mean, it's outstanding. The animation, I think, is really, really cool. Castlevania. If you've ever heard of it, or maybe somebody's told you about it, Castlevanias were really great. It's based on Dracula, Vlad Tepes, and his wife. So I guess the premise of it is just to jump off into it. The premise of it is Dracula was a loner pretty much all this time, and then there's a human woman that comes. She hears about him, and she goes to try and find. She's a woman of science, and at this time, religion was a huge thing, and they thought it was black magic, right? So she goes and she finds his castle, and she talks to him, tries to convince him to, you know, give humans another chance, because he's basically given up on them. But she changes his mind. He ends up marrying her. They have a son named Alucard. And at some point, the church figures out what she's doing, and they end up killing her. Well, that's going to piss Dracula off, right? So then he goes, and he's on a rampage trying to kill. He gives the humans like a year, I think, to come to terms with what they've done, and then he's just going to wipe them out off the face of the earth. And the church is is a big one too in this one. Religion is, anyway. So then you have Dracula's son Alucard has taken a whole lot of different life advice from his mom, and he sees that his dad's going crazy. He's trying to stop him. And then you have the other main character is Trevor Belmont, and he's like he's a vampire slayer and stuff. So you just kind of follow their journey throughout, trying to stop Dracula from his plot for mass genocide, basically, is what it is. You know, so Alucard and Trevor Belmont, and then a few other characters. I'm not going to give you their names, but you'd have to watch it yourself. That's basically what the show's about. I think they're gonna be coming out with some more seasons, but that's just the premise for the show itself. And then as you go along, obviously the storyline's going to change a little bit here and there, or it's going to advance depending on how far they want to go with it. But you know, that was number 1. It's really good. I've seen it through probably like 3 times. But like I said, I like to see if maybe I missed something. The voice acting is really good too. Voice acting is amazing. But yeah, just let me know what you think. And if you do watch it, or maybe you were convinced by me somehow to watch one of these shows, then you're welcome, I suppose. Or just let me know down in the comment section what your favorite animes are if you do watch anime. Or maybe there's other reviews that you want me to do on something else. So this particular video was suggested to me by my buddy because he likes anime. He knows that I like anime. So he's like, hey, why don't you do a review on it? And so I thought I'd just give you some, drop some little hints here and there, and just give you like a backstory for some of these that are currently trending on Netflix or that I like. So with that being said, comment, like, subscribe, all that good jazz that everybody always talks about in their YouTube videos if you'd like to. And if not, I really hope you enjoyed the video either way. So until next time, like I always say, just send it.